Good afternoon, Rob. How are you doing?
I'm really well, thanks, Luke. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm awesome, thank you. So, Rob is from a company called Sum Vivas. I'm sure he's going to tell us what it means in Latin in a few minutes. But I think this is going to be absolutely fascinating. I was just having a chat before the call with Rob, and I felt like I was in some sort of alternative universe somewhere about what Rob was talking about. So, yeah, let's get straight into it, Rob. Um, Big part of your website talks about digital humans. Like, what's this all about?
Okay, Sum Vivas, just tagging on to that, it is Latin for I live. And there's a reason we chose that name is because we create high fidelity, very familiar human looking digital humans.
Mhm.
And we power them with AI to allow them to work with people in a real world situation across a whole variety of uses.
What sort of uses?
So theoretically, anything that you can imagine that an industry or a business does, a digital human can be part of that. Not all of it, but part of it. So, our clients range from businesses that want digital performers that are part of a concert or a festival, through to brand ambassadors, product knowledge experts within the business, customer service agents, and we're also working with organizations that are using AI-powered digital humans to act as carers and part of a support package, specifically to break down isolation and loneliness from either elderly or younger vulnerable people, which is obviously a really, really important thing.
And like, I don't. I'm trying to work out like how you come to decide that you're going to start building digital humans. So, how did it all come about, Rob?
Um, a, a little bit of a fun story. Um, my co-founder has a business that creates concerts and festivals. Post-COVID, travel restrictions were really prohibitive. I've got a background in technology and comms, and I jokingly said, "Well, if you can't get people to fly in from the States, why don't you make a performer?" And it genuinely sparked from that jokey idea of, well, how would you do that? Looked at a few bits of technology. Very quickly found out that, at the time, and this is going back 18 months or so, 2 years, there wasn't a single business that could provide what was needed. Um, Whilst it may seem simple in some respects, a digital performer is one of the most complex things because you're having to coordinate their activity with other artists on a stage. So we went about sort of building one ourselves, and it's developed from there. One of the really nice things of the business is you can use the underlying systems and processes that we've created for digital performers and put them into other elements. So it does allow you to scale and expand. The Sort of the background to the companion is what we call our carer avatar. The inspiration of that was actually my mum, who had a stroke, and she was housebound and was on her own for quite long periods of time. My dad had passed away a few years earlier, and I had the idea of, if I could create a digital double for me that mum could talk to and communicate with whenever she wanted, irrespective of the time of day, that would break down the isolation and loneliness a little bit, and make her life a little bit happier. And that's how we started to move into an AI environment to allow us to use this most natural form of communication, speech. So it's easy. You chat to the avatar chats back, and you take it from there.
So you've got different like categories of avatars, like performer, carer, product specialist, like different that you.
Yeah, and brand ambassador. So if you want an avatar to represent, there's a number of brands starting to do this now. If you want an avatar that will support a brand's journey into Web3, the avatar is clearly always on brand, has a full knowledge of that business or those products. It's never going to be late. It's available 24/7, 365. It can be multilingual. And I guess very importantly for brands, it's never going to be in the news for negative reasons after a big night out or an event or something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about what podcast I was listening to, but they were showing like this like digital human. I didn't know it was called that at the time. Who had like an
Yeah,
Instagram following.
yeah,
They would sell products. They had their own like Shopify account or whatever, TikToks to sell stuff, and they were like 1 million followers, and this like something that wasn't even real was deriving some like serious revenue through various companies and had a huge
yeah,
team of like real people.
yeah. Virtual influencers are a thing. Virtual brand ambassadors are a thing. Again, with their ability to be fully flexible, and this is working as part of a team, not just as an individual element. They can help with marketing, they can help with sales, they can help with service, they can help with general positioning. Going back to influencers and followers, I mentioned our first creation as a digital DJ. I was going to call her she then. The digital DJ is called Dex, DEX. She has her own social media. She's performing in her own right across a series of venues. In the last 6 weeks, the DJ has performed in New York, London, Paris, and Barcelona as part of Digital Fashion Week. It's got an Insta address. It's at dexdj.x, and it's organically growing followers. So these are inverted commas real entities to interface and learn from, just as you would with other influencers or content creators.
Absolutely blowing my mind. So what would you say to people that are a bit worried about AI, like, oh, it's going to take over, or there's, I think, some
Excuse me.
quite serious people are saying, oh, we need to be careful of it, and I think there's a lot of fear it's going to take our jobs. What's your stance on all of that, Rob?
I think it's really easy to position AI and tech change to bring out the scary bits, because the scary bits are newsworthy, aren't they? Most people react stronger to a bad news story than a good news story.
Clickbait.
Yeah, absolutely. What we're about is working with companies to effectively enhance the people they've got in their team now, so they're capable of doing more with the same. Digital humans add another dimension, either making it a little bit more interactive. There's obviously a fun factor in those some elements, and there's also the ability to introduce the brand into a Web3 type experience without having to jump straight into the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
It's a transition from this physical world into a digital world. So we're effectively creating these digital companions for brands. The intelligence, the way that I think about AI and position AI, the intelligence is with the humans.
Yeah.
This is a tool that will help the businesses. And when you put it into context of a companion, it helps individuals as well. Breaking down isolation, loneliness, making sure they're okay, being part of a team, not replacing a team. I think that's where the future of digital humans and this type of new technology will really come into its own.
And it's based on language models, right? So the AI is only as intelligent as the information that gets put into the
100%. If you think of any AI deployment, 80% of the work is actually the data.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking about an application where someone's using a digital human as a brand ambassador, a product champion, that ambassador can only know about the company what the company puts into it. So the more you feed the data, the cleaner the data is, the higher quality, the greater amount of knowledge that the avatar has, the greater its capability. So yeah, the tools, and I know I sort of used that term before, Luke, but I think it's really important to stress to take away some of the fear or the perhaps miscommunication that there is around this. Absolutely 100% agree that frameworks and guidance and the thing that's taking place at the Bletchley Park Summit to give us global rules and conditions, those are required because, if technology continues to develop, those rules become more and more important. But it's really down to applying common sense and using technology in the right way.
Yeah. So I use AI probably every day now in terms of that company, but so it's only as good as the questions that I ask and the information that I put in it. It can't
Yeah.
outperform me, and it does make mistakes.
Yeah. I think excuse me. I think one of the ways that we can all help each other, and I've had this conversation with educators. We work quite extensively with local colleges and increasingly schools. For me, AI is not something to be afraid of. It's something to engage with, and proper education on how to use AI and get the benefits of AI. I think that's going to help us all. I think, I strongly believe a future education path, it should be structured around how to use this technology for the best. You go back to, I didn't touch a keyboard until I was 20 odd because I'm of a certain age. Whereas now kids are learning, they're learning keyboards at nursery. It's the same thing. We're teaching technology from a very early age. This is just another element that can form part of that education piece.
Yeah. And it's still like when I use AI in my business, I still need somebody to do the work. It can't do it on its own. I still need somebody to put the requests in, or still need to be some, if we got AI for some video editing software that I use, we need to put the right video on. Is it right? And proofread it. Do I want that to go out on, there's loads of things that we use it for, but it doesn't just do it on its,
again, sort of something I believe strongly is the intelligence part of AI is the human that's using it, working it, and creating with it. It's going to give you a set of information. You then have to interpret that and use that information how you see fit, and not just be lazy and let the machine say it could be this. Use that information and then turn that into what you want it to be.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So into more business, let's talk about stuff like, how does one go about building an AI business? Like, how is it structured, and how's it all work?
I guess effectively we're three businesses in one, because our intention is we want to make it easy for our customers so we can offer a full service delivery, if you like. So we've got a creative element. So whether that's producing a bespoke looking avatar to a customer's specific requirements, be given an open brief that says, create me a digital human that's male, 20s, and looks pretty funky, or I want a digital double of me. I want you to copy me and turn me into an avatar. So you've got a creative element and a potentially a design element to the business. We've then got the AI side of things, so that's a much more logical physics programming type side, where we're creating individual data sets, or we're using one of a number of language models to bring in the knowledge into the avatar. And then you've got a production team that brings those two things together and delivers them to the client to meet their requirements. So whether that's an avatar that will be in a foyer of a